Good evening, folks. I'm Zean Soe, Liberal Public Radio again this evening. But we're going to be joined here by the conservative himself. Mr. Soe is going to be a tough one and a real good one here tonight. Mr. Soe going to be with us here very shortly. It's very interesting what is happening right now. And we, as Liberians, need to take a deeper breath and think about what is happening. Why is that? To think about what is happening. Why is it that we are in this boat? And it is going to be very interesting here tonight, as Mr. Soe going to be joining us here very shortly. I'm a little bit not surprised. I think the analogy that I can use on this here tonight will be when Dr. WEAH was playing football and he had a clash with that guy in the hall coming off the field, when the guy has pushed him around so much and he decided to strike back. But I'm not too sure if this is what this is tonight, but we will examine all of that. As you know, and Mr. Soe will be here very shortly. I hope you'll be able to join us as soon as possible here, Mr. Soe. If you're listening, please join us here as soon as possible. Folks, safety. I violated my own rule here, and I think it's unacceptable. Safety. Lord Jesus, we want to thank you this evening for bringing us together. Lord, we ask you to continue to protect us. We ask you to provide the protection of whatever mercy you have for all of us. Lord, continue to provide that. We want to thank you for your protection. We want to thank you for your goodwill, keeping us here. Lord, my Lord, we ask you to continue to bless us. Bless the country of the Republic of Liberia. Bless the leaders of the Republic of Liberia. Give them wisdom, my Lord, to do what is good for our people. Bless the country, the host country, the United States of America. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. How can I start a show without even referencing my Lord? It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable, and I apologize. Thank you, Jesus. Okay, I think Mr. Soe is here with us, so I will just go ahead and turn the show over to him. Mr. Soe, whenever you kick in, please join this, and then let's get the program going here. Folks, we're just a placeholder here for Mr. Soe as usual, but we don't mind that. He's the CEO, and so But what I'm not going to take away and what I'm not going to accept Mr. Soe to do tonight is to go ahead and trying to bamboozle me for me to accept his conservative views. I'm not going to do that. I'm a liberal and I'm going to stand by that. I will express my view freely. This is Liberian Public Radio, the international platform where with all of us, even if you're not here in person, if you're just listening, you have a free will to express yourself freely. And once that is done tonight, I think we're going to have a beautiful show. But if he violates that and believe that this liberal will kowtow to his conservative view, it ain't happening. We have another center right that was here, but he's coming back. He's coming back. And I like to take both of them. But tonight's show, folks, it's not about me. It's not about Mr. Soe. This is a serious business that all of us need to pay attention to. This is nothing easy. It's nothing easy. It affects people's lives. It affects friendships. It affects relationships and all of the good things that support we all cherish. These kinds of stuff can go downhill quick. So let us take this thing serious. It is. It is. And Mr. Soe, please, if you're ready, please take it away. Samson told Lebron Pobredo, sitting here, waiting for Mr. Soe to join me here. And I'm just right now just going ahead and making a statement. I have already introduced the show, Mr. Soe. I'm not too sure, Mr. Soe. Mr. Soe, are you there? Could you please join us if you don't mind? Okay, folks, Samson told Lebron Pobredo. And we're having some beautiful. We're going to have some beautiful show here tonight. Anyway, so let's see what Mr. Soe has in store for all of us. Yes, thank you, Carver. Thank you for joining us. Those of you that are watching, this is going to be a very interesting show here tonight. We're not here to bigger and anything have confusion. We're here first of all to all of you that are going through a lot. We ask you to please stay with us.
Okay, folks, good evening. I'm Alphonso Zean Soe. The Liberal, he tried to play next, but he knows very well that I'm coming on, and so he tried to do this. We want to welcome all our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you for joining us here this evening. I'm Alphonso Zean Soe of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. We want to welcome our viewers. Let's get the ball rolling here. Okay, we want to welcome you. This is the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. What did I hear you saying?
Mr. Soe, good evening to you as well.
No, I'm talking about your intro.
Mr. Soe, good evening to you as well.
Good evening. Hopefully this friendship will be maintained this evening here. But I know you very well. Nothing is guaranteed. And I'm prepared for that. You know it. So we're going to have it going. The Liberal Progressive, good evening and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Soe. We're ready to go.
Okay. Well, a lot is unfolding. A friendly fire took place today at early dawn. You remember we said that yesterday. The conversation was very tense, political. It was on the highest level. All different parties were involved, and we are still hearing more. We don't know the authenticity of that, but we say yesterday it came just early dawn this morning, which is very much unusual and expected. Samson Todd, good evening, and I welcome to this program here. Look, we were talking about the air yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and and I suggested yesterday, and I'm glad that it turned out to be.
What did you suggest?
Not quite, but I believe because I was asking the three gentlemen to resign. But the president have taken upon himself, as I stated to you yesterday, Mr. Soe, which is true. These are all friends. and they happen to be involved with a political party.
I like to do it this way here, and please don't scream here. I like to do it this way. You always be to your side, and let me be to my side. Let's draw that fine line of demarcation. Go ahead.
Mr. Soe, my side is the liberal side.
Yes.
And I'd like for you and your audience to join me in my liberal side. Okay? But the point that I'm trying to make here, Mr. Soe, this thing, either way you turn it out, it's not sitting well with many, many Liberians. Whether I be friend with the president, be a supporter of the president, be a supporter of CDC, and even opposition, those of us that believe in responsible opposition, you should not take this to the bank and start laughing with it. This is not funny matter, and this is a very serious business. And these people, most of the time, when they put these kinds of sanctions on you, they last long. It affects you, not just you. It affects the lives of family members around you.
So hold on. You see, you're starting again so soon.
Mr. Soe, I'm taking
you want to police the activities of ordinary Liberian as to you to determine what is their joy.
No, far from it. I'm trying to.
One thing you have not done yet. You need to give me the credit. You were pleading, and I was calling for a definitive action because of the love of my country. You wasn't doing that. You were taking the line of, okay, people friendly, they been this, that. Are you? Why are you?
No regret, Mr. Soe, no regret. What I stated yesterday, I stand by it, and I'm continuing to say that. These people are friends. The McGill, they Seafers, they Twawe, they're all friends to the president. And let me tell you again, most of these people, in fact, if not all three, were in the trenches of the political struggle with CDC. So they are not somebody that you can just push aside. And I want to suggest to you, and this is just a suggestion. I want to, Mr. Soe, the liberal.
Go ahead, go ahead. We the audience also have the obligation to know what.
Okay, that's fine. Because I don't want you to try to stop your conservative way of operating here tonight. And like I said, every move I will be moderating. I will be looking and see if I see any kind of slight ideas of trying to bamboozle me into doing things that I'm not quite ready. I will pounce on it. But let me just say this, and I'm not here to fight, but I'm not here to be passive either. But let me continue with my statement, Mr. Soe. So the point here is this: I was hoping that these gentlemen would have been able to say they resign. However, I want to suggest to you, and whether you like it or not, I think the suspension process itself, it was done not in isolation, but I believe that was a discussion that perhaps took place last night with the three honorable men involvement. And so I believe the suspension was not just done by the president himself. I am definitely thinking, and I believe that perhaps he consulted those three gentlemen and also consulted on a hierarchy of CDC. And he cannot just get up and say, you guys going to be gone. So the issue now for me is, how genuine is this? Because the president, according to what I've been reading, made a statement that these people were being suspended pending investigation. Investigation of what? If there's going to be an investigation, you see, when you make this, I hope that statement is not quite correct. Because if you come out and say pending investigation, Mr. President, then I think these three gentlemen, these three honorable men need to be turned over to the investigative team of your executive. You can't say pending investigation and these people sit at home. Then what is happening? Who's investigating? Those are the things. So I hope that statement, it perhaps might not be true. Pending investigation, perhaps it's not true. Suspending, yes, but I hope that pending investigation part is not quite on board.
Yeah, the context, the war, I'm not sure. And we say yesterday while we were on air, and there was folks texting us here, both from the GOL and other folks from in the diplomatic enclave, and we can definitely say now how this whole thing came down yesterday. And I also have concern when he said pending investigation. Who is going to investigate who? It was in the decision came as the result of the MAGNITSK Act sanction being slammed by the U.S. government. When you say pending investigation, are you turning them over to the U.S. government? Who is going to investigate who?
But let me ask you
Well,
this very simple
no. Don't do this here.
All right, go ahead, finish it. No, because you're really pushing my liberal button right now. Go ahead. I'll be patient. Go ahead.
You want to get a glass of water?
Yes. Let me do that right away.
This guy is about to sound so ridiculous here again tonight. My goodness. Okay. I share a little good portion of your idea of the word pending investigation. I am concerned as to what actually the president's talking about. There's a clarity needed here when he says pending investigation. Who is going to investigate Nathaniel Fala McGee? Let's be a little bit illustrative and visual here to our audience, people that we are talking about, so that they will know. Nathaniel Fala McGee, Simon Serena Seaforth, and Bill Tuarit, aka Bekugbe Jr. These are the three gentlemen involved. They were seen suspended from GOL own internal investigation. I have no idea whether there was an internal investigation going on, and they cannot say that, because if that was the case, they would have told the public, this is what we are doing based on XYZ. This decision came about as a result of the U.S. government and other international community. It's been going on. And in fact, like we said yesterday, when that intense conversation were going on within the GOL establishment, I was also told the decisions of the president early on, it came over last night. When the EU country representative, they were directly, this is what U.S. Uncle Sam is good at. When they're ready to do their stuff, they go all over and get all of those major actors and they sit down and say, hey, this is what we want to be done. And when US is in it, UK is in it, France is in it, all of those major donors, we were told the UN, the EU country representative, they were directly involved. It's a multiple phone calls mounted the executive mansions or presidential palace or the alliance of the president. Hey, this has to be done, or else. Now, the question now is it enough? You're suspending, you say pending investigations. And they were scrambling as to how they would curve what could be the positions of the government. And they've been having problem with this thing over for quite a long period. In fact, since their inception as to how to respond, not necessarily to the Liberian people, but to the international community. They are your donors. You're not just going to put any statement out there because you want to put it. It has to be carefully drafted. They struggle with that. They are still struggling with it. And now they are saying pending investigation. So the question becomes, who going to investigate who? Are they turning them over to Uncle Sam because the action came as a result of the MAGNITSK Act?
Mr. Soe, I think at this point I need to inject a little bit here. I hate to interrupt, but I think my liberal blood is boiling right now. First of all, let's make this clear to you and anybody else that is listening. This president and this government, which I'm not representing, and I'm not here to defend them either, but I want to be factual and I want to be truthful, Mr. Soe. This president and this government were duly elected by the Liberian people. And that election was fair and free and everything else that comes with democracy that you and those that are living in America celebrate so much. Now, Mr. Soe, you want to tell me that the president of a republic of Liberia, of a republic, should just accept any, whether it come from Uncle Sam or Uncle Joe or whatever it is, should just accept that this is the reason why we're sanctioning your people, and therefore you have no. Are you kidding me? We have a country, we have rule and law in Liberia, whether they're corrupt or what have you. That is not the point. The president is saying to the Liberian people and to the international community as well, yes, we expect and we accept and we appreciate whatever you have done for us. However, you also are quite aware that we had an election some 5 years ago. That election brought me to power. I am here to enforce the rules of the Republic of Liberia. Now, having said all of that, Mr. Soe, the sanction were put on us, on a particular people, not the government. And so these people work within the government. And once the sanction were announced to the Republic of Liberia, the Liberian government, under his leadership, and the judiciary system that will all reference, these people are now have to take into account and take charge. Now, when the president, if that statement is true, that he said pending investigation, I think the only quarrel that we should have now is, why are these people not under some sort of a detainment or what have you? But for you to say, because Uncle Zean say, so it is, no, I don't accept it. I don't accept it. Uncle Zean can say whatever they want to say. They have the right to say it. They're just like an opinion. They can say whatever they want to say. Now, you think these people are going to say, no, they most likely have some evidence. So in the process of collecting the evidence to show to the Liberian people and to show to the Liberian government that these people are in fact guilty of what is being charged of, there will be some sort of a legal process. You can't just get up and say, because Uncle Zean say, and so do Mr. Soe, this is not a banana republic. Please, let us treat Liberia and the Liberian leadership as those people that were duly elected. Now, I don't agree with many of them, but they are my leaders. I will respect them and I'll be responsible in my criticism. Not because they might be guilty or anything else. This is rule of law. You can't just get up and say this person, that. And so, even if these people were here in the United States, they would have been taken to court, marched to the courthouse, and their innocence would be pronounced until found guilty. So, Mr. Soe, and many of you that are listening, please spare me this issue of they being guilty, nothing else to talk about. No, this is not Banana Republic. I refuse that, and I will not accept it.
I find it very difficult, your argument here this evening, which is not it's not an unusual one. I don't understand what you're even saying. I have no idea, and you are confused the entire viewers, listeners, and all you are trying to do here is to muddy this conversation, but it won't be allowed. Okay? I don't understand what you're saying. What's your argument?
Should I?
No, I'm coming. So I'm trying to put it into context. Did you hear me saying that the government was not constitutionally elected? Did I mention anything that is an illegal government or is not a legitimate government? Absolutely not. So, when I have the question to ask, how this suspension comes about, first and foremost, what led the suspension? How many times Liberians and other people have not called for the president to even make a common reshuffle, tweet people around, put people here and there and see whether there want to be adjustments in their functioning. Has the president done that? Is it a coincidence that MAGNITSK a sanction from the U.S. government and then early done? We were on the line here yesterday. And what we are being told, what we are still hearing at this point in time, enough is not being done. When the English word enough is not being done comes from the diplomatic enclave, there is a lot of political implication to mount pressure on the sitting government. I feel bad for you. I don't even know which way you are. I don't know what you represent. You claim to be a liberal, but your ideas, your talking point does not in any way looks like the liberal. Liberal people, liberal are there, they look out for their people, but your liberal ideology is far, it's removed, it's not even on planet Earth. Sadly to say, and I can tell you that. Okay? I don't understand what you're talking here tonight. And this is what you're good at. One day you are on, one day you decide, another day you decide. Am I surprised? No, because in your own words, you said you are unstable, and that's how unstable thoughts and ideas come into play. So what you try to do is to confuse, to diffuse, pollute, and just add up to the already problems we have. I was calling for the president, for the love of my country. I was calling on the president yesterday to take an immediate action. And you came out here, you Samson Toe from Totan, you came out here yesterday and saying, oh, the president, that's the president friends. They came down the trenches and blah, 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 blah. So what? No one is above the law, including the president of the Republic of Liberia. Thabo Mbeki, Jacob Zuma, the struggle these people went through to get South Africa to be where it is. It is not equilibrium. It is not equivalent to Nathaniel Magee. But hold on. You talk for 10, 15 minutes. I didn't say anything. Please give me a chance. It is my time. If you think Nathaniel Magee's suffering surpassed your, well, not me. I was at the port of Freeport of Monrovia. I don't think you were even in Liberia when the war took place. You were already here drinking milk. You were drinking orange juices and all of that. We were eating boko weed. I ate Bubba John. You didn't eat Bubba John, that I can tell you. I was at the port of Monrovia, LPMC warehouse. I used to drink hot water and eat cocoa, your man Joseph Boyka, where he there. That's what I used to eat. You never ate that. Our club, I was almost literally in the Zion Grove Baptist Church choir when Prince Johnson came. We sang, where we clapped our hands with tears running down our eyes. So I can tell you, I went through the trenches and struggled them more than. When did Nathaniel Magee join CDC? Who brought Nathaniel Magee to CDC? Do you know that history? Should I educate you? Should I tell you? And you're telling us one person, single person, or three individuals. Let me put these people out here. And I think, and let's watch and see. They are saying GOL needs to do more. Nathaniel Magee, aka Bakugbe Jion Beltuare, and Semu Sereno Seaforth, they are the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia. Three high-profile government officials. They were slammed, and the president, he had no choice. He had no choice, and this is why you saw this prompt decision. No time. They were arguing sedition.
Mr. Soe.
And I can tell you, but if I can tell you all those that were involved in that conversation.
Mr. Soe.
But so for you to tell me, my only concern, I agree with you when I also said he's not calling for to be turned over. So my question is, who is he turning these gentlemen?
Mr. Soe, let me disabuse you and your audience. First of all, my ain't saying your more, your ain't saying my more. I block you. You can't do nothing to me. I'm a liberal. I'm not one of those fly-by-night liberal. I believe in from the broad perspective, looking at things from the broad perspective. And this is exactly what I'm doing here tonight. Let us all look at this on a very serious note. Liberia is a republic, has its own rules, has its own law, and if its citizens. And I hope that if I was in Liberia, that I'm accused by America, that Liberia will not just say, yes, take him, or we do whatever. I hope they will say, show us the proof. Now, in the process, let me say this again. I'm not here to defend any of these people. They don't know me. I don't know them. Most of the time, I argue against CDC policy. So you can say and call me sedition. I don't care. Call me uncovered sedition. I don't care. The thing here is I must be true.
Will you start making false
about? So will you please? You spoke here.
But you're it annoys me
Mr.
when
Soe,
you're
not going to come here and tell me how I respond. Whatever that I feel need to be dealt with, I will do so. I'm not here. You're not going to bamboozle me into accepting what I saw the central right writing some stuff here, and I hope you will join us and let him come and face me as well. I took both of you on before, and nothing happened. I'm still here. I'm going to be here. But let me just tell you this, Mr. Soe. These three gentlemen has been sanctioned by the United States government. I also believe that the U.S. will not sanction a Liberian without having a proof, without having any kind of evidence. They don't do that. These people most likely have been warned before. Might not be direct, but indirect. Most likely. Now, the American government felt that these people are siphoning out, just like you go and take people gas from their gas tank. Whatever little they're saying, whatever little money that is sent to Liberia for development, these people take it for themselves. And because of that, they decided to sanction them. That's fine. What I'm saying to you, where you and I are going to differ, is the process. The process that is going to bring these people to, you can't just say, these people are responsible people, whether you agree with me or not. These people live in the country. Now, let me tell you again, their sedition, I don't agree with many of the things, but I also believe that before coming to power, they were hanging together in the trenches of the political fight, whatever they called it. I don't agree with that. And I say so. I say so. I say so.
You read it again tonight.
I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. My hand finger, your boy, your hand finger, but you will not try me. I will not cowtail to nobody. You can write whatever you want to write. I'm not going to cowtail to nobody. Now, Mr. Soe, here's the thing that I need people to understand. If the president were to make that statement, to say pending investigation, yes, that is the right thing to do. The only part that I don't agree with, pending investigation, we still have not seen these people being charged or been taken to the proper authority for investigation. This I don't agree with. If you use that word pending investigation, which the president have the right to do, he is defending the country of the Republic of Liberia interest as well. So if there's a pending investigation, what I say and what I frown on is for me to still not hear or read that these people were turned over to the authority and perhaps post bond to go home. That's what you call pending investigation. And through that process, then the process of investigating, American government will be asked to submit evidence. And based on that, Mr. Soe, they don't have to. America doesn't even have to deal with Liberia anymore. They can just say, we don't have no evidence, or we know we don't want to deal with these people. That's fine. But when the president said that, I believe he will also get the cooperation.
So, okay, let's not do a fairy tale type you're saying.
Nobody doing fairy tale. When you talk for almost 15 minutes, and then when I started talking to me, you shut me off and tried to exercise me and try to somehow trying to kick me off of the show. Let me finish my statement, please. Let me finish my statement, please. So the point that I'm making here, I'm not here to defend anybody, but let's be true. Let's be truthful to each other. We cannot just come out here because of our hate of a specific party, because of our hate of a specific person, then everything else you go against. No, that's not how I operate. Even if I don't hate anybody. I disagree with Dr. WEAH based on policy. And the policy, for most of the time when I have my show, I enumerate those policies that I disagree with. And that's how the thing's supposed to be. You're not supposed to come out here because of your hate and say the president should need to do it. Well, please spare me that.
Why is this? Who's talking about hate? Where does hate coming from? I think you used to making sure of breaches and rules are properly taken care of. I don't think this politics talking point here, I don't think that's your area, honestly, because you just flying from Town to Sacramento to Rhode Island, back to Liberia and all of that here. So let me ask you this question. Do you agree or disagree with the actions by the U.S.?
Yes.
Yes, what?
I agree.
So what is your reservation?
My reservation is this. These are not American citizens. And so America, they've done their job. I read the sanction. They've done their job. And they told us why they're putting sanctions on these 3 Liberians. Mm-hmm. It is Liberians now that are going to say, thank you, but we will do our own investigation. because I no longer the president. Let me finish, Mr. So the president most likely suspending these people is to say, I no longer have confidence in you three to be able to perform the kinds of work that I appointed you to do. Therefore, sit aside. However, we also have due process in Liberia, and that's why I really don't understand you and your audience argument here tonight. We have due process in Liberia, just like here. And so, so the liberal is talking, and if you are being accused, as far as I'm concerned, that's accusation. United States has not placarded the evidence they have, or they said that they are unsanctioned, and sanction is a process. It doesn't mean you're guilty. It's a process. And if these people were American citizens, they would have dragged them to court. Then they go through the judiciary system and have the case adjudicated. And then these people will be found guilty. Now the punishment comes. But in Liberia, you don't want the men to go ahead and punish the people because you say so. So I beg you, man. You might not do the kind of thing to us. We're not stupid around here anymore.
You're getting everybody here to Spain again as usual this evening. So do you agree with the president's actions or what, or not?
Excuse me?
Do you agree with the president's actions of suspensions of these three gentlemen or not?
Yes, I agree, except the language that was used, pending investigation.
By whom?
By the president. What I read about pending investigation, because if you say pending investigation, then you will come out that these people have been turned over to the proper authority to start the investigation. That's how you show to the international community that Liberia too is on rule and law. We're not a banana republic. These people, I accept the information from America. Thank you, America, for preventing that. But we will use that same information to collaborate, whatever you have, to make sure that these people, what you said they're doing, they are doing it. And the law in Liberia will take its course.
So wait a minute.
You don't understand.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I don't understand because you're twisting everybody here around here. So do you think GOL, the government of Liberia, do you think they agree with the sanctions slam on GOL?
Excuse me?
Do you think the GOL, the government of Liberia, agree with the sanction from US on these?
Not quite. Because if the president accepted in its totality of what is being sent out to the president, these people will not only just be suspended, but they will be in jail. So not quite. The president accepted the information, and I'm sure he appreciates the information. Now, let us now give this president the benefit of the doubt, my people. You can't sit down here.
Well, I don't understand when you say so. Who is not giving the benefit of the doubt?
But there are people in social media. There are people, Mr. So we all been on social media all day been reading.
So who are the
people on the social media? Mr. So I'm not here to come and count people. I don't know what I do. I read and I move on. There are people on the social media who believe perhaps some of them are saying the action is not tough enough. The president need to fire them. You don't behave. You don't operate government like that.
No, listen. Do you think it's an overnight event that just occurred and yesterday just coming to light? Do you think it was an overnight scenario that just unleashed yesterday?
Excuse me?
Do you think it was an overnight event that was just thrown out in the public domain yesterday?
No.
What do you think happened?
I believe that the government of the Republic of the United States has been watching the three gentlemen for quite a while. Okay. I believe that the government of the United States most likely have tons and tons of evidence on these people. I believe that the government of the United States of America, based on the evidential evidence that they have, or evidential proof that they have, they decided to take this drastic action. However, Mr. Soe, Liberia is not a banana republic. Liberia should not and must not take with anything Uncle Sam had and say, this is it. We will take all of it. Take it. But do it within your own law that will benefit Liberians. There's a law. We have Constitution. And the Constitution protects all of us. Let the Constitution and the law of Liberia take its course on this. That's what I'm saying.
So are you saying the action, I want to know who is the violator here, because the decision was taken by the chief executive, who happens to be the president of the Republic of Liberia. And I hear in constitutions and all factoring in here, it appears to me there seems to be a violation of the constitution.
No, far from it. Far from it.
So then what is the argument?
The president did not violate any constitution, nor the United States of America violate anybody's constitutional right. What I'm saying to you, and what I'm suggesting to you, the statement that was made by the president, pending investigation, many Liberians on social media don't even want him to have any kind of investigation, because many of them they say and they write about it. They don't trust the government to have a fair and impartial investigation. Fine, that's your feeling. That's fine. But that does not negate the fact that Liberia is a republic. We're not a banana republic, and we will fight for it. Mr. Soe, let me tell you this. People die for us to be in this position, and we must defend this position. We are here. We're not stupid anymore. We are here. This is a country of law. We have justices. We have the judiciary system that is being supported by the same America. We have people, the law enforcement.
They're not supported by America.
Mr. Soe, the Lpr is making some serious right now. Please don't interrupt. We have the people in Liberia that are working day in, day out, making sure that safety and life, protecting the life of every Liberian. So, finally, before I'll let you come in, if any Liberian, I don't care whether he's wicked in the eyes of Zean Soe, I don't care whether he's so ridiculous, stealing, broad daylight stealing, and he's been accused, whether it be a Liberian government or any other government, accuse a citizen of Liberia, that person must be given a due process. That's my argument, Mr. Soe.
So I find it difficult to process your argument here. You are saying no one violate. You support. I thought you were going to say the judicial system is being supported by the Japanese also. Then now we're going to have it. So let's have a conversation here. Is it the statement curved by GOL? Is that what you disagree with? And the acting or the actors unilaterally without some sort, or are you saying it was based on circumstantial evidence? Is that what you
Mr. Soe, the president has the right to fire at will. If you take any position,
so then what's the point? What's your argument?
You're taking a position to be fired at will. The president doesn't have to justify anything. That is not my point. You guys, just because somebody is arguing against something and all of you want to gain out on me and you think I'm going to kowtow to you and your audience, it ain't happening. I'm a liberal. I'm cool. My hair fame, your more, your hair fame. Nothing you will do to me. You will not bamboozle me to take your conservative idea and those ideas that I deem on not a liberal idea, but some idea that coming in as though they're going to be able to help me. No. This is the point, Mr. Soe. Let me make this again. The president has a right to suspend. My argument is this. When the president made a statement, pending investigation, 100% correct. However, my little disagreement on that is that if you say pending investigation, these people, as soon as that statement is made and released, these people should be turned over. But proper authority for investigation.
Let's make the conversation more interesting here. Another Liberians, he will be adding his voice. He's joining this conversation. I told you I concur with you that I yet to get a clear-cut explanation when GOL said pending investigation. So who is going to investigate Maggie, Bakugba Junior, and Simon Serena Seaford? Because
let me say this here before. Hold on 1 minute. Let me make this one point clear to all of the people on the social media. Liberia, my second argument is that we're not going to just take Uncle Sam's statement and take it as face value. Whether I know we accept it, we know it's happening, but we as a government, the government of the Republic of Liberia should not take it as a face value. They should look into it. and have an investigation process
More
to make
news.
sure these brothers that are being accused are not being accused in any way, that they are surely, whatever
Okay.
it is, and that is also in the interest of the United States
Let's
government.
bring this here. More news still coming while Jennington Tyre is joining these conversations. We are hearing from the diplomatic sources enough to be done. So we're going to be right back. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Mr. Jennington Tyre is joining this conversation here from another liberal state here, going to be adding his voice. Meanwhile, we are hearing again that more needs to be done. This time, call coming from the diplomatic enclave. Let's bring in Jennington Tyre to add to this conversation here. My dear brother Tyre, good evening and welcome on LPR.
Good evening, so very kindly, and good evening to Mr. Samson too.
Samson. Okay, that's a friend. Let me put this here. What are y'all based in the liberal state? So I don't know whether he's the one that we're going to see what happened here this evening, because people from California, and they always on our side here. Okay, welcome to the conversation here. What is he doing?
Thank you so very kindly.
Oh my
Again, I said thank you so very kindly. I hope I'm getting you getting.
Yeah, we're getting you loud and clear. But this is what we are hearing. Sources are telling us now what we are hearing from the New England Bureau, calls coming from the diplomatic enclave, still calling on the GOL to do more. More needs to be done. Usually, when this English word more is coming from diplomat, it's significant, it's huge. It means more step needs to be taken, or they are still not getting what they're supposed to be hearing. We do not know the intensity of it and what going to be. But what we do know, yesterday there was intense conversation within the GOL and EU directly. They were involved. I know the American ambassador has been speaking out vividly about corruptions and human rights and all sort of things being happening now. Let me just bring you in this here. You as a Liberians, the action by the government of Liberia, is it enough? Jennington.
If the action to remove officials of government isn't sufficient, in fact, that action in itself doesn't demonstrate, the will and courage from where we sit, because one, this action was never taken despite all of the odd crowd from liberal Liberians across the nation, the media, which is the fourth estate, the civil society, and different lines of people, political leaders, about those characters that were named yesterday. There were no action taken, up to the U.S. Treasury Department, because they said both the Congress and that of the legislature, they take full responsibility of the action. So until that action was taken, what is unfortunate, is that I think it was an opportunity for WEAH to even better turn people who have not been named but have been heard into different issue concerning corruption, to even amend the names, and submit it for prosecution. Prosecution as in the P, as in the legal term, it is not as witch hunting. So people go there, you clear your name. If you think that you're standing on a solid rock, and go and vindicate yourself. But the disappointing thing is that the Treasury Department that took that decision, which represent the government and people of the United States of America, is in consultation with what we call the Financial Intelligence Unit of the Republic of Liberia. Remember that Liberia is a dual currency country. So America got some say in the kind of financial issue of Liberia. So I will lay my hands on it as the show roll out, to understand that the Treasury Department has some consultation, backdoor consultation with the Financial Intelligence Unit. So that
Okay.
means the Financial Intelligence Unit is adequately aware of the action of the government people of the United States of America, and the government now and the president of Liberia now should be acting on those names that have been called through the legal means, then trying to play what we call the laissez-faire rule of start of leadership, and don't want to hurt your good friends, not wanting to take them through legal means, fast legal and expeditious means, in order to restore confidence. I think this is a pass for WEAH. If I had been in President WEAH shoe, this is a pass, clear pass. This pass
Okay.
will lead me definitely to relooking the budget of the Ministry of State that is far greater than the budget of the entire judiciary. This lead me to looking at who do I name as Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia. Can I look a person like Tiawan Gonglo that come with repetition? Do I look a person like the Nibari Warner that comes with repetition? This is a blank card given to WEAH, and how he utilized it will be
Okay.
an advantage.
So I want to be playing something here. Mr. Jennington, if we were to call you, your session here, is it in a political context, or you are making these assertions on behalf of ordinary Liberian?
Look, I'm making this piece as an ordinary Liberian that prepared to contribute, to our forward march, because we were first Liberians.
You have a political interest in what is unfolding in Liberia, correct?
Yeah, certainly I have a political interest. I'm from a political background, so that is very clear, and I will not hesitate to identify with it.
Okay, so let me play this here, and I will have you and the Liberal take who agrees and who disagree with it, and then we're going to move forward. But for what we know now, the foreign missions are still calling on, so it means more pressure is being put on government to do enough. What going to be the response of the government? What next? Is there some sort of second contingent or another batch will be slammed? If that not happens, I have no idea. But let's place this. Senator Abraham Darros DeLond is already in the picture, already in the fries with this, calling on the government to do more or even to have these people fire. Let's get this here, and we get your reaction.
It sends the message that he agrees with their corrupt practices and the harm they are causing the Liberian people. At this point, every Liberian must be angry about this, righteously angry about this. If the president means well for our country and people, he should be angry as well. I am today asking President WEAH to demand the immediate resignation of Nathaniel McGill, Serena Cephas, and Bill Traore, because a mere pronouncement of suspension is not enough.
Okay. Russia's, let me bring in the liberal progressive, that his partisans, that his body, that his lie, whatever lie he is, they all have some sort of commonalities. He, a Liberty partisan based in USA. Darros DeLond, Senator Darros DeLond, is based in Liberia. All we are talking here is political. Now, the Liberal.
Yes.
Let me bring you in here. Righteously, that's the word deployed by Senator Darros DeLond. He needs to do enough, playing into the sound bites of the foreign missions accredited near the capital, that these guys must go. Now, suspension is not enough. There must be fire. And in the technical term, when someone is fired because of situations, that brings in the criminality aspect or potential investigation to validate the case against that individual. So the question now is, do you agree with Senator Darros?
Laughable, completely laughable, I would say. He's my senator, I respect him, but in this situation, very laughable. Now, Mr. Soe, Why were you a senator of the Republic of Liberia? Even if what the United States government have sent out, and I have it here from the from the Treasury website, and I've read it over and over, and everything stated here, it can be as clear as anything else. You're the senator of the Republic of Liberia. Your duty is also to protect Liberians, no matter what. We have laws in Liberia, and the senator was duly elected to make sure that the Constitution is defended. And because the American government, based on evidential whatever they have, which I'm not doubting, but because they presented to the Republic of Liberia, now you're going to stand as a senator without any reservation whatsoever to use words like, we're going to wait until we see what the investigation is going to review. We're going to wait until to see what exactly the Liberian investigative authority will give us. You're not making any reservation whatsoever. You're coming out, and based on a foreign country information, you're going to now say these people must be fired. What happened to due process, my people? What happened to the court of law in Liberia, my people? If these people are guilty, because the sanction that's there for America is a clear cut. These people, they have evidence. For them, it's clear cut. If what I'm arguing here is this, if these people were to be here, the United States citizen, they will be taken to the court of law to say, Judge, these are our evidence. And these people, their defense going to come out and argue against those evidence. This is my point that I'm making all night. Let's do the same thing. We want 1 minute, we say we are American. We want second, we want American system to be applied in Liberia, blah, blah, blah. But then when it comes to these kinds of stuff, you want to separate yourself. You cannot just accept whatever the American government is giving you. You, as a sovereign country, look, people die for these kinds of things. People die so that we will be able to be defended. Even if we act wrong, let the law of the Republic of Liberia convict us. If you want the American government to convict these three people, in the sanction, there's nothing in there that they must be extradited to America. They didn't ask for extradition. They said that these people commit certain crime, and because of that, the American government can no longer deal with them. They're putting sanction on them.
Okay.
For a certain senator, to say because it comes from America, it must be right, that is unacceptable and laughable as well.
I'm trying to get through your drive through here this evening here, and I'm going to be coming to Jennington here. So don't hesitate to shout me whatever you want to shout me, which is common here. So it seems to me your argument here, in as much you agree with U.S. actions, if Liberia is receiving it in its totality to say, yes, this is it, then we can make a little educated guess that maybe the government of Liberia, or maybe there was some sort of internal investigation that was done and not published and not being revealed to the public. And if the government agrees that, yes, what is coming from the U.S. is indeed valid, and suspension is taking place now, then there must be an action to also prosecute these people. Then it means there's some sort of crime is being committed against not just only the U.S., but against Liberia. Is that your argument?
Mr. Soe, in this Treasury report for sanction, one of the important things they mention in there is that McGill has a tendency of using his power to make sure that they investigate. Mr. Soe, let me finish. It's important to make sure the Liberian investigators do not come across to investigate anything he's doing. This is the opportunity for this is what the Americans are saying. Now that these people have been suspended, let the Liberian government now take this opportunity before you fire anybody. You can suspend them. But that does not negate the fact that they are also Liberians who are under the protection of the Liberian Constitution. All night, I will argue that.
So I know I'm going to be going
to take back seat to anybody.
Yeah,
This is my
no,
idea.
that's what we do here. We don't allow people to take back seats. We can't put you. You're not load somebody who would be in the car trunk. You always belong in the front seat here. Drink some water, oh man. Don't worry. Don't let pressure or cholesterol to go up here. So let me let me bring in Jonathan here. What I still finding very difficult to understand the positions of the GOL too as well, because the war suspension. I read through the statement, or maybe there's a slip. I don't know, and any of you guys can correct me. They are not telling us that they are being suspended without pay. They are not telling us to say, okay, they need to turn over XYZ, of government properties, cars. Usually, when you see this thing when happening in the West and these sort of actions taking, federal agents, they were already to engulf your house, computers, and other things want to be going, and more or less you will, and your counselor going to be speaking. So they're not telling us that they are being suspended without pay. There's still some sort of luxury in there, pending investigations. My question is, who is going to investigate then? Because it is a clear cut that the decision taken by the government of Liberia, by the president, it came about as the result of a sanction being slammed on the deputy to the president, Solicitor General. That's one of the chief prosecutors of the country. Can you imagine? Get wear to the country's economy. Bill Trari, right? These are people. If you say you suspend them pending investigation, then the Ministry of Information, Republic of Liberia, needs to come up with a definitive, clear statement. And this is what we are hearing. Because based on that, the foreign missions near the capital now, they are saying enough needs to be done. Because it's like, okay, let's take this action here quickly, and then it will stabilize the conversation. So maybe I'm getting ahead of my shadow here, Janitor. Is there a clear position by the GOL when they say pending investigation? Who going to investigate that?
Look, so and Mr. To, what I can say is that you have to be deliberate on your foreign policy. You have to be purposeful in order to attract the cloud that is needed. The people you're dealing with have reached the point to paint, the misgivings in government that have been spewed out by one of its agents, and I'm speaking legal term now, agents of the government, in person like McGill in Banga, that was say, people stole before, and if I can steal and use my stolen warfare, it's for the people of Bon County. I'm not taking it away. True law confection. And then the president will only come with a lip service, because that's why you got to read the diplomatic language. The people are aware that you will not take action. Normally, these actions are taken by the Treasury Department at the close of the year, during the corruption or calendar period, December particularly. But this one is coming in August, after the confession of your Minister of State for Presidential Affairs. It is not sufficient, knowing their strength of investigation, knowing what they have accused this government about. These people have gone far to say that the Solicitor General have been arm twisting facts, pieces of evidence needed to acquit political opposition leaders in legal matter, to convict them in the court system. That is broad-day butchering of the judiciary system. And to clearly make that evidential, you increase the Ministry of State budget and reduce the entire judiciary budget. So it is not sufficient to just come out and say, look, I suspend you. With the thought that are trying to play the West. I'm trying to play the West, and, to appease my colleagues. And I can understand why. Because if President Weah takes hard decision on this guy, look, they're gonna get nasty along the way.
We don't know we don't know the immunity they're still enjoying. You suspend them. Are they still running government officials? Are they still running government taxpayer cards? Are they still getting other benefits that we need to know? Because when you suspend somebody and you say pending investigation, it means that the action itself or the maybe the crime, alleged crime, is inconclusive. But when someone is fired, you turn over all government properties and stuff. So we need to know what they are still enjoying and what they are not enjoying. And I believe in this context where this is where the diplomats we are hearing now, they are pushing back to say, you know what, much needs to be done. Enough needs to be done. Go ahead.
But let me let you know that the names are not stopping there. I can say there will be more names added to the process in the not too distant future, very soon. They are only hitting this one for the first time to see what action, and there where I agree with you, there would have been better action taken to dismiss those people, because if they are vindicated according to the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, the president still preserve the right, and to also hire those people at his will and pleasure if they are vindicated from the process. So you are only setting a tone that you are dismissed based on these cogent information that are very sensitive, and go and vindicate yourself out there. When you vindicate yourself, again, you have sold the government positively. So to just pass on lip service suspension, we don't know the magnitude of the suspension. We do not know as to whether it's without pay. We do not know whether you are not working from the background. They have just re-motivated those international experts who are going to reinforce their energy on Liberia, because there is really wanton stealing in our country. The Ministry of Finance need to come on a query. He has used road fund without legal authority given him. I mean, very similar to the very recently prosecuted Mr. Bernie Samokai. So he has to go on that name for all indication. He sat on Spoon Network and said that the legislature gave him verbal approval. I'm a legislative research analyst at both the House of Senate and researcher at the House of Representatives with many years of experience. There is no power in any few legislator. The power vested in the legislature is in the plenary. So there is no way that somebody can give you verbal explanation about what to use. This is completely unacceptable. The essence of the rule for is meant to maintain our roads. We're already lacking roads going to the southeastern region. Those donor countries who are contributed, it is our responsibility to maintain that facility. He cannot be using that money for other reasons.
Mr. Soe, Mr. Soe,
before you
don't look now, but this is exactly the kinds of argument that perhaps will be convincing. And don't look now, guys, but you are making a case in a court of law under the Liberian Constitution, which I've been arguing all night. This is where it belongs. It doesn't belong. The issue coming from America is supposed to now give Liberians, and including this president, a set of a platform. This is what I come in line with you guys. This is the opportunity for this president, not necessarily to accept what people are being arguing tonight, not necessarily to accept in totality what is coming from America, but that information should now be used as a platform now to bring these people into whatever judicial system we have in Liberia. That's my argument. And Mr. Soe, look, let's look at this. This is much more an issue that many of our brothers and sisters on the social media, that one side they will be dancing and everything else, and on the other side condemning and everything. Nobody wants to come in the middle. The point here, Mr. Soe, is this. This can turn out to be ugly for all of us. If these people, they also have supporters. You want to tell me that the president perhaps not taking that into consideration? He shouldn't, but he's a human being, number one. So if these people are now the kinds of a suspension, and you correctly ask a question, what type of suspension is this? Are they enjoying some sort of privileges still? Why is it usually when they suspend people, they suspend without pay? This is what the president have already. There's always been the case. If he suspend you, you suspend without pay, but the other time indefinite or something like that. But you cannot have the lax digital suspension and you expect us to accept it. And that's what from the beginning my statement was when he said pending an investigation. When you make that statement based on information that you have and you're suspending somebody, those people now must be turned over to the proper authority, whether we like those authority or not, because it comes with the process of pending investigation. So when will the investigation take place? And who are those that are going to be investigated?
Let's bring you this.
And who are the investigators themselves? So in order for you to be sincere about this, turn them over to the proper authority. There's rule in Liberia. These people will post bond and they will not spend 1 minute in jail. That's fine. But at least that comes out of your hand, is in the hand of the authority. Before you come to this country,
I will interrupt you.
that
Let's
must
bring
be
you.
done.
We want to bring you this happening news. Okay, it's getting to be more serious. We have been told the legal counsel to the president, former Senator Archie Bernard, received a call, and more or less the foreign missions are calling on the government to do more. It is not enough. And that has to do with the same suspension that we are going. When a phone call is placed to a legal counsel to the president, it's like calling Trump Town, calling Kelly Conway and all of those people. When they are placing those, because those are the people in their own words seek advice, not just ordinary person that chanting and says. So when they are calling on to Bernard and Bright, those top advisors to the president, is more or less serious. The question now becomes, will there in the next coming days or so, will there be a change? Will there be a pivotal movement from suspension to firing, and from firing, whether a crime is being committed? And if a crime is being committed, who is going to prosecute that crime? Something told, if these information are correct, now that the legal counsel, in fact, he but now we've been told was one of those that received a call yesterday and brought this to the attention of the president when the EU representative that it needed to have a conversation with the president, but it has to go through the legal counsel to the president. If they are still arguing today to say that enough needs to be done, it's still inconclusive. And it just speaks to the point of you suspend the person. Where is it? Where is it?
Let me fall back on my statement last night. The president.
You eating crow?
No, I'm not. I said, let me go back to my statement last night.
Okay.
The president, again, these three honorable men, they should now come out and do the honorable thing. The president has submitted to the world to say these people are suspended. This thing is not going to turn out good. If the president is not careful, and even McGill and his people, and even the three of them, if they are not careful, this is going to be rotten, because if they are defeated, any other government are going to come over. They're going to prosecute these people. Now, the point here is this. You, McGill, Seaver, and he called himself Bekubek Jr. You guys are all members of CDC. The sedition hierarchy should now pressure McGill, Seaver, and Twawe. Pressure them to come out now. Take it out of the hand of the president at this time. Be a man. You have done wrong. You have done ridiculous things. Be a man and come out and say, we resign. We resign. And when you do that, you free the president of all of these kinds of issues that he's facing right now. The international community, they're not going to come. They're not going to come. Now, if they come out and then tomorrow, the pressure is so much as you're explaining, and come out tomorrow and then he fires them. Do we now expect the international community to run the Republic of Liberia day-to-day affair? Is that what you guys are suggesting? This is what I'm saying to you, Mr. Soe. The ball is in the court of these three people. They need to do Liberia and the Liberian people a favor.
This is where
resign from this position and let the chip fall where it may.
This is where, and I'll bring in Janitor here. The idea the ball is in the court. No ball in their court. They don't have no hand out to bounce any ball to make a basket shoot for us to see it as a 3-point shooter here. That I can tell you for sure. The ball is in the court of the president of the Republic of Liberia, who has the constitutional authority to appoint, to dismiss, and even turn over anybody for possible crime to the Ministry of Justice. Period. That's it. Now, if we are hearing this, remember when Charles Taylor, that's how they start. And when the next thing, the sanctions going to be expanded. And you're going to go to family members, other associates, and other people. I don't know how they see it to be. It's not a play. This is what America is good at. They're going to use their diplomatic and all means possible. They don't give when they're doing. They work with different agencies. That's how the staff. That's how that's how the country can be hated. So, Janiton, Mr. Toe said the boy is in the court of these 3 people and the seditions. Who is in charge? Who is the boss? Who is the commander in chief? God forbid, if there was any gunfire at any of our borders or entry point, who will tell the AFL, the armed forces of the joint or the security apparatus to say, be on alert, proceed at the borders, and that the citizens, the motherland has to be protected? Who has that constitutional authority? It's the president. That's not a party. We need to set aside. Let's distinguish party from government. And this is where the problem is coming from. Who should take the bull by the horn?
Certainly, the Constitution gives the president the exclusive right to appoint at will and pleasure and dismiss at will and pleasure. And besides that, it is the president that the Liberians stood up to vote for. We did not vote for ministers. We voted for president. We voted for representative, and we vote for a senator. We have not voted for minister ever in our history. So they are. If they have no, value to add to the process, then they are excess baggage. But to term them as people who should be making a decision when they are already being accused, then means that's a fundamental, issue wrong with how we are analyzing the decision of the Treasury Department, how we are taking it light and not understand. Look, I always told people, 50% they cure to any malady, any sickness whatsoever is the realistic diagnostic approach. If you know that you have AIDS, you know what to administer to that AIDS. If I know the pathway of Mr. Samson Toe, I will know how to realistically contact Mr. Samson Toe. If I don't know it, it's an embarrassment for me. It will take me 2 minutes time to grab it. We that know what Washington has started now, not just with the 3, I keep emphasizing it. There are names
That's what they did to Samuel Doe, Charles Taylor, and other world leaders. That's how they start. They cut your root, your stems that around you, and it makes you vulnerable. But and then they say, okay, the boy is in your code to say, this is what I would do.
But I go deeper. If these allegations are surrounding sophisticated people who see President WEAH on a day-to-day account, what message you think that is telling you further?
Let's get some reaction from our Liberians and follower here. Let's go to this number 612-703 number. Caller, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Ben calling from Minnesota. Nice. Thanks for having me.
Okay, Ben, welcome to the show.
Yeah, I love these Unity Party people. The way how they are so smart. When you hear them speech, these are the same people who, when I wonder where were they when the U.S. government sanctioned banning Shema? What did they say? What did they say about banning Shema suspension? What did they say when the other guy on Baga team exposed himself? His his known self. These people are so hypocritical to the extent that they don't even need to be in politics. But I think the president did the right thing. And as I will agree with the Libra that
hold on. Okay.
I can't believe this.
we just think they are all right. No, there's a lot of things there's a lot of mistakes America made.
So quick.
America post sanction on so many people that they went back and they removed them. But I know those three guys issue. We all know that those guys they are really bad people. But
Okay, so quickly here before I go to the next caller here, the president, the government says suspensions. That suspension, do you think is it clear there's some sort of ambiguity into that here? We don't know what that suspension entails.
Well, so we will have to give him a little benefit of the doubt. We all know that the president does not have a history of firing people. He only hires. I mean, that's one thing we know.
I know, but the flip side, when he suspend you, your own will go. You can't go back. But that's not. Right. But this one here is not just only in the GOL here. It's quite a different scenario. Okay, Ben, thank you so much. The line is bossing here. Let me go to the next person here and bring them in. Okay, let's go to this number. Hold on. Let me see here. This is crazy. I think Liberians are ego. This is a critical issue here. Okay, let me see. I can merge this number. Okay. All right. Call out. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I think there are three numbers because right now I can't see it. But let me go to, I think there's a number from Delaware, correct?
Yeah, Delaware is 009.
Okay. Are you sitting down with Joe Biden? That Joe Biden telling you to call or what?
No. I'm just sitting in my little corner and following the conversation.
Okay, just kidding. Okay, so what's your take on this whole thing here as a Liberian? The suspension, firing, where do you stand?
Yeah, I'm Stephen Corto, and I call you for Delaware, Newcastle. Quite frankly, I think the president is not serious in the fight against corruption, and the American government are very serious about it. They say that when the whistle is blowing, if you're not careful, it can go after you. I listen to Lpr, and he tried to the president, if he is serious against the fight against corruption, those corrupt guys who are embezzle the country resources, two things here. They should resign or to dismiss them. Not to suspend them, because if you suspend them, they are still working at the way of press.
Okay. All right. Just hold on 1 second. Wow, this other number can merge.
Who are going to investigate them in the first place?
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
In the first place?
All right. Let me go to 609 number. So what's your recommendation finally before I let you go?
Finally, is our president. It is not too late yet. It's nothing to be done. Take action. Use your political will. You have to
what sort of action?
Hire and fire.
Yeah, don't leave her hanging to action. What kind of action?
Dismiss them immediately.
And
let it go. They are not only Liberian as working in government. They get qualified people that can occupy that position instead of people of Liberia.
Thank you so much. Let's go to 609 number, I believe, coming from the Garden City. Caller, are you there? 65.
Yeah, Mr. Soe, how you doing?
Good evening and welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Mr. Soe, I know the haters they all happy, and what they've been wishing for has happened. So now they try to tell the president they're making a decision for the president of Liberia right now, because that's what they've been wishing for. MAGNITSK should be fired. MAGNITSK should be fired. Now they have gotten their result, but that's not everything that comes from the State Department can be true. You hear, Mr. Soe, you know what's going on in this country. Liberians leaving their home every day, going to the State House, asking people to put censure on Liberia. Because what? They are not having the opportunity to work in Liberia now. They need power. So they've been doing it over and over. Now they have gotten their request, so they're pushing the president now to have the people fired.
Okay, so let me ask you quickly here, because the line's still bustling here, to go back to Minefield. You are a Liberian. Take out your political jacket. I'm not sure whether you have one, but I'm just making an assumption here. What do you think the government or the president needs to do in the interest of the country?
I think the president has done something that he needed to do: suspend his people, investigate. If they are guilty, fire them and prosecute them.
Investigate. Do you agree that the suspension of these gentlemen is a result of the sanction from the U.S., correct?
Yes, correct.
So who should do the investigation?
Yes, Mr. Soe. The U.S. government been putting a lot of people on sanction. When the people file the case, some of them can be vindicated from that.
Right.
That accused. Fine. So the president have to give the people the opportunity, at least to be able to file the case, making sure that what thing that they're accused of.
Thank you so much.
They have to fight a case.
All right. Thank you so much.
Make sure that they are vindicated.
Okay. Papa Flomo.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I see it like you are joking. I say I'm here like you're running out of breath. What's going on? Let me bring you in here. Okay.
I'm fine by the grace of I'm fine by the grace of God. What I want to say is that the idea that when America says anything, then America's mouth is Bible, like we say in our Liberian Palam. You know, America's mouth is Bible. Anything they say is final. Jerome Verde was on Spoon FM and said for the past 2.5 years, we've been trying so hard, convincing these people to bring sanction on Georgia government, and I'm happy today we have gotten it. So this tells me that America did not do this thing on their own volition. It was Liberians who woke up. Jerome Verde admitted it. He said on Spoon FM yesterday. He admitted it. We kept person asked him. So they went to America and said, listen, this did X, Y, and Z. Jefferson Kochi did this. McGill did this. So because we want you to bring sanctions.
So quickly here. So are you saying so the action by the U.S. government is based on what people they have without them doing their own due diligence?
That is 100% true. I say it because America has made so many mistakes in this world. America, they've removed and put in government all around the world. See what they did in Iraq. They went to Iraq and killed hundreds of thousands of Iraqis based on false intelligence, based on what people told them. They destroyed the whole country. When they asked George Bush said, oops, we're sorry, we thought you had weapons of mass destruction. And he was laughing and joking with it. So this intelligence, sometimes it is not even done by the Americans. It's
okay, so quickly here.
Yeah,
quickly here, the suspensions. Is it rightful decisions, and should the president say pending investigations? How concerned are you pending investigation? Who should prosecute this investigation if it's to take place?
Well, it should be done like it was done in other countries, like Nicaragua, when they put those politicians on suspension. The prime minister asked that they should bring evidence. And I thought 2 or 3 years, when they didn't bring any evidence, they removed them. And what other callers are saying is true. When they put this one sanction based on what the opposition tell the American government, because that is their intelligence. When they had a whole meeting with Jerome Verde and what's on the Yesenia Martin, that's where they get their intelligence. It's from most of the time it's from the opposition. Okay, so when these will have to bring the evidence, like I say, Nathaniel McGill gave money to businesses and he bribed them. Where are the businesses? So, Mr. Soe, they have put people on these sanctions and they have removed them when the evidence come out later. So when people say who can investigate, it was even done in Nigeria. It has been done all over the place. But
thank you so much.
But in conclusion here though, the most dangerous part about it, I'm not a millionaire. Mr. Soe, I don't believe you're a millionaire. No. If God blesses you tomorrow and you become someone big in Liberia, let's say president, and some guy who has so much money can just come to the American government and tell them falsehood about you, and guess what?
So talking about this falsehood here, so are you saying there was no internal and external investigation? They didn't gather anything and they would just gather and slam sanction on what I would say the president's right-hand person and one of the chief prosecutor of the country?
I believe so. And that's the example I gave you. They went to Iraq, killed hundreds of thousands of people on false intelligence. There was no weapons of mass destruction. Jerome Verde and Mr. Cummings, who went to Washington and gave this, they are always in Ghana talking to, what's his name, Alan White. And Alan White goes to Chris Smith. And Chris Smith, they have to work with the Democrats because the Democrats want to get some kind of bill from the Republican on some kind of a bipartisan agreement with regards to the war in Russia and Ukraine. So they have to give the
okay, we'll leave it there, Pape Flomo. Let me go back to my guys, and we're going to go there. Okay, gentlemen, it is out there now. The whole thing. Are you guys hearing me?
Yeah.
Yes.
It looks like, and from what we are hearing, I know it's a divided house when it comes to this politics. I got to talk to my guys before we even wrap it. This whole game is being shifted on the opposition. The opposition is responsible for the sanctions, according to Pape Flomo and many others, force who ain't doing those subliminal messages. But what I don't agree with in saying that, even though when they say it, to say that they didn't do their own investigations and just overnight to slam sanction. So, the Liberal, do you think this sanction here is because of the work of the opposition?
It's also laughable, and that's what I said from the beginning. The opposition have no claim on this, and they shouldn't be coming in and say we did this, we did that. It's laughable. Look, I'm an engineer, Mr. Soe, and you know how much I try my best to get involved into Liberian infrastructure business. So I am quite connected. The corrupt behavior that was listed under this sanction paper here, for me, some of the things that was listed, they are true. I've seen it. It's just that some of us don't like to talk those kinds of conversation because it doesn't benefit any of us. But the fact that let's just take for example.
Talk about it.
Yeah, let's just take for example, and I will say this here. Look at the East International. The people that are responsible to do the Rawafi Highway. Who is connected? The young man, I think less than 30 or 40 years old, he's now the manager of East International. He's according to what we have, information that I have, that he's had some sort of a kinship with McGill. And this guy, I have people that are working with the Japanese company that did the design. And they are now fighting with this Japanese company because they are not building the road according to the design. And so the engineers, the Liberian young engineers that are working, say, no, we can't pay you. And what do? They go to McGill. And McGill instruct the Public Works Ministry to pay them, despite the fact that the Liberian young engineer who's supposed to say, yes, this is good, or no, this is bad, they go over them. So these are things that we're quite aware of.
He has a construction company. I'm wondering what are they going to be still government because it's on a suspension? Everything.
We heard the story about our late brother Mabutu that passed. So this young man McGill, the stories is out there. So for you to come here and say opposition have nothing to do with this. They might be beating their chest, and that's for nothing. Beating their chest, not for nothing. They have these people have been watching McGill. Look at the first statement they made about McGill. They said McGill has been started from the beginning that anybody that goes out to look for job for the government, McGill want to cut. It's in the paper. So it doesn't mean that the opposition gave that information to McGill. I've been saying that here. I was in Liberia during the inaugural program, and I know of this. People came back from the inaugural program that McGill wants a certain amount of money in order for them to get a job.
Okay.
This is something that is ridiculous. So nobody's making up any story.
Let me put this now, and that's a good analysis, May. The opposition to there's another disaster group of people because I don't see them to do now. They are going to be all staring out with this whole thing. Should that be their focus, or should they? The thing is playing out by itself. They don't have nothing to do with this whole thing here. Yes, they have been making the argument. That argument, the actions of the U.S. government is not based on what they just tell them and they just decide to go do their argument. What should be the focus of the opposition now? Because this seems to be like some sort of storm is passing over the ruling party, this positioning, and because we've been seeing Nathaniel McGee in the past of reason as almost the chair. In fact, he's the chair on the president re-election committee, right? Yeah, he's the chair, and that's why you see him out there. That's not going to happen no longer. He is the attack dog to the CDC. He's good at it. He knows how to curve his words. He knows how to bring people to a halt to get that sort of attention. He's very good at that. All that's going to disappear because of this. And that's a serious concern within the establishment, but they are not saying it. What should the opposition, what should be their focus now if they want to take state power? It should just be about this now. I'm hearing protests and all of that. Does that really matter at this point?
Look, let me just say quickly, because one of the caller mentioned of Unity Party people, I'm an opposition person from the background of the Alternative National Congress, and I'm proud of that. We have never given into those shenanigans, of the government. The opposition is now focused on the findings and report of the Treasury Department, because for us, we only amplify the misgivings of government, the corrupt practices, and the kleptocratic, means by which the government are instituted. That is our pathway. When we have done that, we still keep engaging our grassroots, explaining to them. We are currently focused on the census that is upcoming, that drive development. We are looking at the voter rolls cleanup. We are looking at the voter registration. We are looking at court crossing across the nation. That is where our focus is. We did not create the condition that the CDC government has. The CDC government came into power. Liberians were performing at the time at the Liberal Extractive Industrial Initiative. The CDC government came and brought it to its need. We provided advice. We told them what missteps were being taken, and they went the way they went. We spoke about the issue of the map up exercise. They did not listen to us. International partners came and told them the procedure was wrong. The GAC report said that there was a procedural errors and it needed to be further investigated. That was not our making. We did not join McGill to recruit belligerents, people who needed to be, re-collaborated, people who needed to go through rehabilitation. It was not our making. McGill hit the ground recruiting belligerents in order to intimidate people. And something just said it. McGill stealing has started against his own sedition who came from the U.S. in order to come look for a job. People who were paid, due member paying. McGill was, collecting money from them. Surreptitiously in order to give them job. In most instances, he would deny those people who came with a little amount in order to contribute a quota, though they were qualified. So it have not been our making. We are. This thing is the playing a football game. You will not tell me I'm a number 9 player against Samson Soe or Mr. Soe, and then you play number 5, you ring bell, and you cannot get your legs on the ball, and you expect me to play a defend role for you. I'm not responsible to play a defend role for you. I will have to certainly see the back of the net. And the way we do it is, look, the lobby come in both ways. They are all intended for the growth of the country. If we continue to tell you that this is not working, these individuals are corrupt, there are semblance of corruption seen in them every day, and you can do no action, our best bet is to provide the facts wherever it is needed. Likewise, the government itself. The government is paying thousands, hundreds of thousands to lobby. I guess it is in the best interest of the people. But it's making the lobby quite difficult when Magay comes in Banga and say that though the other people corrupt, so myself corrupt, but I will build my house here. So it makes it difficult for the lobby people. We are not getting the real value for the money of the lobby. So that is the disappointing thing about it. That's all.
That's a disappointing. Let me go to the Liberal. The Liberal.
Yeah, Mr.
You are within the opposition column. Should this be the talking point now, or they should be going into the situation room or war room to build a strategy to solidify their political grip and see how CDC? Because to be honest, messages still coming. There are some other folks, seditions, all who still in the system too. They are happy of what is happening right now. Magay has created that wall of Jericho with a lot of folks who are also strong sedition. We know a lot of them from here, the Zuckerman, the Body, there are other people who are diehard sedition, qualified, competent, but that wall of Jericho, even with those on the ground, they see them, but they can't come out. The man, he's a pumpkin pound too. You never know whether the pumpkin pound going to rise again. And then if you come out and then the pumpkin pound backfire, you're going to be in hell trouble. This whole thing here, should that be the argument, talking points of the opposition now, you guys, or you should find something else to be doing?
Well, if at all I have the ability to advise the opposition, I'll tell them, let this go, let this play out by itself. Sedition all will put their foot in their mouth. I think I predicted that a long time ago, and I think this is one of those. You would think that intelligent person like McGill will close his mouth, making that kinds of ridiculous statement in Banga, having the president being invited by the American to join his colleagues to come to the United States to represent a country, and then the president, the man who, when they're leaving to go anywhere, they always leave him in charge, make that kinds of ridiculous statement. And not only that, he made that statement while the president was in Abidjan trying to celebrate with the Ivorian on the Independent Day of the Ivorian country. Now, Mr. Soe, I would say to the opposition, don't let this, because this is what most likely they would want to throw your way. And here's what I think will happen. The sedition, they're very good at that. They will make that into a political football and then attract the opposition to now come to this thing, trying to go to demonstrate, and people are going to get hurt. And then now the focus of the international community will no longer be on this. They will focus on the demonstration, why the demonstration happened, and people get. For me, I said, leave this. Let the international community see what it is. And if the president is unable to go and do a thorough investigation, then I also say the chances of this person being re-elected is going to be difficult. It's this particular sanction here will be the downfall of the CDC-led government. The people you're talking about here, McGill, I believe strongly he was one of those that instituted the bubble system in Liberia, where Dr. WEAH sits in that bubble and can't see nothing else except what McGill and his people want him to see. He sees not. Look, Mr. Soe, on a very serious note, I keep playing this video when I come on my show. When the president went to Southtown, in his home country, in his hometown, he was not in a bubble. You saw the reliefs in the president's behavior, the way he was connected with the people in Southtown. When I play this video, people don't pay attention to it. But these are the kinds of things that I noticed. So when he came back to Monrovia, he got back in the bubble. The sad thing today, I watched when the president on his country tour, Monserrate County tour, the place, politics is a deadly like the game. The game. The place where McGill usually sits when the president is sitting down. This is a spot top. What's his name? The finance minister was sitting to this smile.
Benevolent detector?
Benevolent detector was sitting in that spot to this spot smiling. This is not going to go down well for many of these people. And so what I'm saying to this president, if this president, yeah, you can have all of these people with red hat and everything else. But once these people start squeezing, the money getting tighter in Liberia, with the international community involved, your chances of being re-elected will go down the drain. This thing must be dealt with and do it seriously so these people can know that they have somebody they can count on. They don't have anybody over there because they've been burned before. Remember Charles Taylor used to have, according to the story, he used to have Al-Qaeda coming over there to dig diamond and sell diamond. These people are quite familiar with Liberian cockroach business. They are not strangers. So when they come up with these kinds of stuff, you have to take it serious, or else, most likely, they will put your name on there as well.
Okay, the suspension, we do not know the great lie on there, but this lady here, Diana Nemo, is will be acting as the non-minister of state, no, from the National Port Authority, actually, it's Diana Nemo. is going to be at the is the principal deputy at the ministry, not ministry. What I'm coming from, a Ministry of State. Is the principal deputy to Bakuba Jr. And we are hearing one Dave Slawion, I believe, will be at the Ministry of Presidential Affairs. Is it too soon for us to begin to profile if and if we don't know how it's going to end, but knowing the history of this president, when suspension kicks in, the possibility of you returning to class is just not possible. So if he's to anything in the worst case scenario to make appointment, who the presidential affairs minister is almost like you opens the corridor to the president, monitor the daily activities of the president, like a protocol person and all of that. Who can he possibly, if the going gets tough and the tough gets going, in a worst case scenario, who can fit that position? Anybody you get on top of your hair from the CDC side? I don't know. I'm not sure. Just try to insert.
If you, I can weigh in on that.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, you can't put your finger on anybody right now. But Believer detector, you can't put him in there. We will meet the people in the street with our blood. You can't put him in there. He has some serious problem as well. This thing is not. Look. You remember Manu liquor talk? It's coming back now. That liquor talk is coming back to hurt these people big time. Big time. So this lady you just showed, what the Manu say about Dr. We are employing with me? Please. They got some serious problem. And this is an opportunity for Dr. Weah to extricate himself from this mess he found himself. And say, folks, this is about Liberia. It's not about me. Liberia is bigger than all of us. It's time to move on.
Okay, but you will respond, but let me reconstruct my question here. Knowing your background, where you're coming from now, you are let the cat out of the bag. You are an ANC guy, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and we are hearing Alexander Benedict Cummings will be speaking to the nations. He's positioning himself, making himself more presidential and ready to lead if he's elected. We don't know how it's gonna be happening. What is he going to be saying? What would be the message insider of the ANC? Why will he be projecting? What is he doing? Is this something that play in the best narrative of the ANC to put them somewhere on top, make them, can they capitalize on this to build their political momentum?
Yeah, Mr. Cummings is going to be saying, the same regular thing he been re-emphasizing. Government will be led by innovation, needs to be led by creativity. When you take an individual like McGill, whose first and last experience is being an assistant minister and making the chief of office staff to drive the agenda of a George Weah, who does not also have a grab on the presidency in terms of executing the function, then you also understand that we are in a troubling time. When you take an individual like Koji and make him the city mayor of Monrovia, all of you know, in America here, people go to school to learn how to lay out city. How to understand how city are navigated, and you make it a city mayor. Of course, you understand there will be a huge ineptitude. When you take a university dropout or someone who has been suspended to making an assistant minister for research and extension of the Ministry of Agriculture under a full government, then you understand.
Haven't we said?
Yeah, the level of ineptitude. So it is not our wish, because look, Mr. Cummings has said, if we would make my election difficult, he should make it difficult. Even if you make it impossible, it should be impossible, as long as he is prepared to do the work of the Liberian people in order to be re-elected. Mr. Cummings, healthcare about that stuff about whether he be elected. If Mr. WEAH is now bringing in place. And I started this conversation. It is not just, we are first Liberians before we join political parties. So it is not just about us wanting to come to power. Can WEAH be courageous enough to look at someone like Nimbari Warner and say, I'm making you a chief justice? Can WEAH look among a lot of Liberian, professional Liberian, even seditious, and say, I bring you to sit on this table to lead the effort of the Ministry of Presidential Affairs? It is with him. If he does not, I mean, we will always criticize. Our limitation is just criticism, simple as it is. He collects the revenue of the country. He expends the revenue of the country. Ours is just to advise him in good faith. It is his responsibility to take those pieces of advice in good stride and act upon them. If he does not, it will bounce back on him. And all we will do at that time is to leverage ourselves, make our partners to know, make the locals, because it's a politics is local, make the people to know what is going on. And that's all we can do.
Mr. Soe, let me respond on your question here. And if the honorable man going to be speaking tomorrow, what I hope that perhaps will come out of his mouth. First, he must sympathize with the Liberian people. He must show some sympathy and say something like, your vote for the CDC was not a wrong vote, except those that you elected were the wrong people, number one. Second, he also should sympathize with the Liberian people. This is not the time to say, I told you so. We've been saying this thing over and over, that these people were not a good people. This is not the time. This is the time to show leadership, to show fathership, to be the father of the nation, since Dr. WEAH is perhaps failing in that capacity. So it's something like, your vote is not wrong, but the people you elected are the wrong people. And finally, to say you elected CDC, that you know that McGill and these people were going to behave the way they're behaving? No. You trusted them, but they have abused your trust. I sympathize with you as a leader. I'm not here to shift blame. I'm not here tonight to castigate anybody. I'm here as a Liberian to say we are all in deep trouble. Let's find a way to get out of the mess that we find ourselves. That is how you talk. This is not the time to say, I told you that you people were inept. They were unable to rule. Look at what the American government is saying, that they prove us wrong. I mean, they prove us right. This is not the time to start beating checks, because if he does that tomorrow, I will come on this show and condemn that statement forcefully.
Forcefully, before Jonathan respond here, from you're not a Cummings guy, is something you a Boyka guy. So let me ask you, do you still want Cummings to go on a Boyka? You say
That's another day conversation, Mr. So this is not the time.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
go ahead, Jonathan.
Let me respond to Mr. Toa. And I think, I mean, both ways are not either exclusive of each other. You can spin the conversation in a much more way, like you said, leadership way, to attract people so that seditious will now feel comfortable with you. That, and this is not, and Cummings have been saying it, by the way, too, that you did not make a wrong decision to vote President WEAH. It is the action of President WEAH that will be wrong, and should he not act in the proper, in your interest properly. And so that is why McGill, peace come in along with Bill Tuawe and that of the Solicitor General. But importantly, you have to understand that governance around the world is driven by prudent action. And you can only be prudent in your action when you have elevated beyond ineptitude. And to say that, because it is a huge part of the whole governance system of our country. You have to admit to that. That is the biggest trunk of George WEAH problem. We all know President WEAH does not have that technical know-how, but against to crown it with people who are unsophisticated to drive the agenda is a problem. And that cannot be dropped.
It's a problem, and that cannot be dropped. What a fascinating and great conversation here this evening. We will be back here tomorrow. I'm going to be hosting the the Secretary General of the Opposition's Unity Party, Amos Tuer, will be my guest here tomorrow. And I'm quite sure, I have no doubt that he's going to be at it. In fact, there was a statement released yesterday. We're going to talk all of that. They fired to the party's chairman. I learned Unity Party also put out a relief. Unity Party, Unity Party. He's from the Unity Party. Yeah, he sent that. I got that yesterday. We're going to talk extensively on that. So, well, gentlemen, I want to thank you so much.
And I hope to be here tomorrow too, because I want to know from him as to whether he's connected to the Unity Party Global folks that have their website denying people, because if you say the Liberian people must elect a capable and honest person, then they block you. So I'm going to ask him that question tomorrow, being a Unity Party man, as to whether he find himself in line with those kinds of behavior where they will block you because you want to tell the Liberian people they must vote right, and then they're going to try to block you. So if that's is that how the Unity Party going to come to power and start with this kind of corrupt behavior? I'd like to approach him on that tomorrow as well.
Do you have any question for you? Say what? Oh, the Unity.
I will be on here live. There's no two ways.
You don't know what I'm going to invite you. Why
Mr. Soe, I'm the board chair.
You want to be another Natana Maggie on LPR? That's how you can use your power? Not yet. This guy, Jonathan, is he a real liberal?
The liberal.
I'm a liberal. I evolve from time to time. I look, you have to understand, in this type of situation, we have to be truthful. If the truth is there, say so. Don't just say it to benefit you, because then your credibility will be ruined. It doesn't matter what people say or what they write about you, but be consistent. And this is what we've been on as a liberal. Thank you very much for having us tonight, Mr. Soe. And I will be back here with you tomorrow again. I'm hoping that the center right, because I saw him writing here today. If he has the ability now to write, he must have the ability to speak as well. So I will hope that he will join us here very shortly, so that at least with you and him, it's easier for me to deal with both of you than looking over my shoulder.
One thing you're good at. What's about this guy here? My understanding he's going to be joining us here. And then talk about him, the new guy.
Well, the ANC mayor, he's not liberal, that I know. But I'm waiting to see, because he been speaking a lot of book here tonight. I'm trying to decide for all of the big language, the big book he's speaking here. And next time when we come out here, I'm most likely going to give him a title, of course. But this is what I'm going to say to him. He's a ANC Californian. How is that? ANC California. Let's put it out.
You're welcome.
Just how you are Liberty Party California, right?
No, Liberty Party USA.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but it was quite wonderful here today, and I quite enjoyed my time. I mean, like I said,
this is what, go ahead.
We are Liberians first before adapting any institution, and so all it's about Liberia. All that we want is that someone was talking about people sitting in America. No one wants to retire at the age and be old, 60, 70 years, or still be in America. Where children, the children these days, how their attitude looks there, and people want to retire back home. People want safe environment. People want electricity. But more people returning to Liberia after they have worked tirelessly in the diaspora here. They add value.
Oh, I've been saying you.
They add values to the economy of Liberia. They are not coming necessarily to be employed by government of Liberia. In fact, they will be employing people, and they will be, creating job one way or another. in the system. When you have bulk of your people yearning to leave the country, then you know the country is risk. Those days in Liberia, when university students came to America to go to school in the 70s, they could, as soon as they announced their graduation, some of them leave the graduation behind and went to Liberia because Liberia was not perfect, but Liberia was somehow considerable at that time up to the 80s. But as it is now, there are tons of Liberians who, if they were plane available, they will all want to come to America just to have a greener pasture. And then where we think that we have to fix it for ourselves.
Oh boy, Prince Belupo, sorry to say this. I listened to your show, but I do not understand why your partner consider himself liberal. My goodness. Who? Let me tell you now, Jonathan. This guy, you know Bamboo State, right? Your countryman, I must say. You can't put your weight on it. That's him. That's the liberal. When you're going, he looks like a pumpkin pie. He's not one. He looks like an alligator. He's not like one. He looks like a crocodile. He's not like one. But I can tell you, you never know who he is. But he's a nice guy. Don't be surprised. Believe me, you're going to find that name. Our guy from East Africa is going to be joining. He start calling him Mr. Nairobi. Our man from Minnesota, he's on vacation right now. You can't call him Minnesota politician. Access Zablo here, he labeled Access Zablo as CDC professor, just like that. I mean, that's who he is. So I'm just telling you, beware. So that I'm just giving you a heads up, but he's a very nice guy. Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for your time. The Liberal Progressive, gentlemen, will be good to have here from time to time, and this is what we want here at LPR. We discuss national and critical issue. We don't throw people. You will not say anything for me to get offended to say I want to throw you backstage or remove you. It is ridiculous. It is unacceptable. It is unprofessional. We're not setting a good pace, good tone to our viewers, our listeners. It been disrespectful. This guy here, he's a pain in my neck, but sometimes I just I would beg, and he doesn't get mad. That's a good thing. When he get up, then he called me, then he laughed. I like, oh, okay. You think you want to throw my pressure over the roof? It will not happen. But gentlemen, it was a good conversation. We're going to be back here tomorrow. You have the time by 6 o'clock. I'm going to be hosting Amos tour of the opposition to Unity Party. And hopefully with your presence, maybe who knows, you're close to coming. We'll be having here frequently as well. This guy refused to let Joseph Boyka or the Boyka force to come, even though he's a Liberty partisan USA, but more or less he's Boyka guy. So I don't understand why he's running away from his own shadow. I want to thank you so much for the conversation. And by God's willing, we'll be back here tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, folks, that does it this evening. We're going to be bringing our curtain down. We want to thank you so much for your time, your tweets, your comments, those that call in. What we do here is all in the interest of the country, not necessarily to satisfy the political curiosities of those people here. But we must have authentic and genuine conversation for the good of the country. We can agree, disagree, and this is what the civilized people, they call what I call conference. You sit around the table and you mend the fences, put your ideas on the table to be persuasive, and tell me that, hey, this is why when I'm even calling it blue. What? Our country is at a crossroad. Again, we have been told more pressure seems to be mounting on the GOL. That enough to be done. It is unclear what we will know or what will be happening in the next coming days, but we can say intense conversation is ongoing. And the president and the folks around the president, it's a very, very difficult, volatile situation at a time when the ruling establishment just celebrated a huge win in Lofa. What would this turn out to be? What is the definitions of suspensions and pending investigation? Do they still enjoy the immediate of the government taxpayer money? What is it? Who will be having this investigation? Uncle Sam is the one that accused these people and sanctions, and based on that sanctions, the government took action. So who would be the prosecuting arm? Is it the government of Liberia or the accusers for which the decisions is being made? a lot of unanswered questions. But what we do know, foreign missions near the capitals of Monrovia are still mounting pressures, most likely coming from Uncle Sam, that enough needs to be done. What would the president do? More for our shoe, most likely, is imminent. I want to thank you so much for your time this evening. I'm Alphonso Zean Soe of the Liberia Public Radio. This building you see behind me here, that's the building, is the center of gravity, political gravity in Liberia. Everybody wants to be on 4th floor, 8th floor to run the day-to-day affairs of the country. Who would that be? The conversation continues. Thank you so much and have a pleasant evening. I will catch you here tomorrow. 2 programs. First segment, we're going to go political, and the second one, we're going to come down to community. We got to hold these community organizations accountable, because this is where they live and they go and contest for senators, representative, and all of that become minister. So we need to start bleaching. So we have to bleach starting from our own feet before we can get outdoor. Thank you so much. Have a pleasant evening. Your comments, your tweets, your suggestions, and those that call in. Keep those comments rolling. Subscribe to our channel. We're also on YouTube, and that is Twitter. And you will get more programming of Liberia Public Radio. Thank you so much, and have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.
Everybody, everything's going bad. The situation getting worse. Everybody in the country getting mad. Dishonesty, poverty on the rise. The leaders them making empty promises. Promises with no damn strategies. Yeah, this is better days, money in their pockets. Oh, as a holidays only for the bosses. Yeah, there's a better days, money in your pockets. Holidays only for the bosses. Oh yo, hey, what about the children? What about the people? What about your families? What are they gonna eat though? Yeah, so safety everywhere to you. Yeah, so waiting we help you. They don't really care about you. They don't care, my people, it's true. They don't want to see you break through. The whole country's getting confused. Corruption, no questions. The country going in the wrong direction. Leaders high belly, many mentions. We don't know where the money come from.